It is a beautiful day here on the Rotsey in Lucerne. The boat park is alive and buzzing. We have countries from all over the world here ready to race at the World Cup, and we're going to go for a walk around the boat park, have a look at what's going on behind the scenes and see if we can bump into a few people to chat to. Welcome to the Rotsey. You've done your first race, but this is one of rowers' favourite places to race. Can you tell me what it's like in the boat park and why you think that is?
Yeah, I think there's such a good buzz around here. We love coming here every year, and I think it's because it's so tight knit and like the racing's literally right in front of you and the boat park's right here. It's really exciting to be part of.
And then you've come straight from home. What's it like to come from Ireland, training here, and then to be in the sort of buzz of the world rowing?
Yeah, it's nice, especially we were training at home and training's going well, but it's always nice to come to an event and like Alison said, it's so close knit. And the fact that it's so open to spectators and stuff, they can come in as well. Like I just finished our heat and my family were on the slip, which I actually didn't expect at all. But it was really nice. I can't really get that anywhere else. So yeah, it's nice, it's different.
Rachel and Hilary, you're here on the boat park as well. Who are you here to support?
We're here to support Finn mainly because he's my son, but also Ben in the double sculls.
Amazing. And what's it like to be here? This is a unique regatta in the fact that spectators can kind of be in and amongst the boats. How does that feel and have you experienced this before?
Only a little bit with schools rowing. We were allowed in occasionally, but it's so nice, to be milling around with the athletes and seeing them all get prepared. It's very special.
And we came across the right boat, didn't we?
Yeah.
We came across Finn's boat, so that was very good.
It can be a little bit difficult to find them in amongst. And what are you most looking forward to about this weekend?
Finn's win.
No pressure.
I'm going to be confident straight in there. Yeah. The auntie's come. She wants to see. We're just to be here to support him, and it's great to see everybody competing, and nice to see them out of their boats as well when they come back from being on the river. So you feel part of it, I think, being in here. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
So you've been to Lucerne a couple of times. What does it feel like to come back, and where does this kind of rank in your sort of ranking of courses?
Yeah, it's so nice to come back. Definitely right up there in my ranking of courses. I mean, it's beautiful. The water's very, very nice to row on. The city's beautiful. Even the thing where you can get the buses whenever you want. It's just such a nice venue. Everything about it is just very nice, very well organised. I love Switzerland. So yeah, it's very, very high on my list of my favourite venues.
And what about it's a unique boat park in the fact that you're sort of in amongst the spectators and the crowd. Do you enjoy that, and what do you reckon that brings to the regatta?
Yeah, I do enjoy it because I think, rowing maybe isn't the most spectator sport compared to some of the other sports, so it's really nice to actually bring the spectators into the action, and also my parents and my aunt and uncle were stood on the bank, but they felt really close to the kind of racing, and to hear them shouting for me was really, really nice. But yeah, I feel like you feel very immersed in it here, and it just brings a really nice atmosphere.
Janine, we're here at Rob's Hood and you have the incredibly important job of making sure all the rowers are caffeinated over this weekend. Can you talk me through what goes on here and how it's like to be here over the regatta?
So I personally really appreciate a good cup of coffee, and so it's really cool for me to serve that to the rowers, to the coaches. Obviously the story behind it with Robin that wanted to bring good coffee, especially to his fellow coaches, and now me being able to serve fellow athletes or people that I raced against, but also some new faces. Nice coffee is really great, and I really enjoy being part of the rowing scene and the whole vibe here a lot, so it's really cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. What would you say is the most popular order when people come here?
So on Wednesday we started out here and it was really hot, so it was probably iced latte. And yesterday was a little bit colder, so it's more like flat whites and cappuccinos. And now I would guess again over the weekend when the temperature's gonna rise again, it's probably gonna be iced drinks, which means probably iced coffee.
And then do you get to watch any of the racing as well, or are you purely busy here pumping out the coffees?
Yeah, I know from previous years that it's going to be really quite busy tomorrow and also on Sunday, and I will probably take the time to watch some of the Swiss crews, or all of the Swiss crews hopefully, and then probably the women's single also, because I'm a huge fan of Lauren Henry. I love how she's sculling, so yeah, I really want to watch her in action live.
Yeah, she's doing amazingly. But yeah, thank you, and thank you for serving everyone coffee over the weekend. A very important job.
Thank you so much.
Paige, you've raced in Lucerne a couple of times. Can you talk me through how much you like it, where it ranks in sort of your ranking of the courses?
I think it's definitely one of my favourites. I've been here a few times and it's really nice to come back to somewhere familiar, and it's just a lovely course. It's really cool to have people cheering quite early on in the race. We don't always get support the whole way in the race, so that's probably one of my favourite things about it, and it's just beautiful. It's stunning to look at, yeah.
And obviously your home course is in South Africa. How does that compare, and what's the biggest difference between there and here?
So we row on a dam in South Africa and it's pretty big. We can do maybe like 6 kilometers from the one end to the other, and we have an 8-lane course, so it's quite big. This is a bit more narrow, so it means when there's lots of boats on it, it's very washy, which when we don't really get at home. But we're very blessed in South Africa that we have lots of big dams to row on, but it's always fun to come here.
Bill, you are the technical delegate here in Lucerne. Can you tell me what that means? What does that involve?
So my role here is to make sure everything's in place for the fairness of all the athletes that compete on the water. And so I go from the start to the finish and make sure that everything is put in place up to world-class standards. And so, for example, in the start area, I make sure that all the timing systems are work with Swiss timing on that to make sure that's in place. I work with the officials to make sure that the start system's ready, that they know what they're doing at the start, making sure everyone's in position that works. I also work with the local group, which Timon is in charge of the facility, to make sure that the buoys are in straight lines on the course, and we have safety people out there. The rescue people know what the procedures are for rescue, and then to make sure in the finish tower that everything's set up and ready to go. And finally, medal ceremonies to make sure that it flows through. When you're working with television, you have to make sure that everything looks world-class when you want to showcase the sport of rowing. Because the venue is very small, and so the challenges is how do you fit everything in, and the flow and how it all works. And so since Timon's come on board as looking after the facilities now, there's been a bunch of changes in the trailer park area that makes it more efficient for the crews, as well as the boat builders that are here to supply the boats and fix the boats and make sure that everything's ready to go. So there's been a lot of changes that have taken place in and around the compound and the preparedness of it. And so when you come to the event, everything's set, everything's ready, everything's laid out properly, and that makes it special for coming into the event. As the TD, it's always a challenge when you go into some of the venues that new organizing committees. The organizing committee's been here for many years, and it's the same people year after year. And so for me, it's like coming home to see some of the familiar faces and to see some of the changes that are taking place.
Sarah, you're a busy woman here in Lucerne. Can you talk me through all your different roles over this weekend?
Yeah, look, I'm pretty busy these days. Obviously looking forward to Henley next week, and you'll have your first year as a steward, so welcome to the group. So definitely getting some planning and my head in the game on that one. But of course here in Lucerne, one of the beloved regattas of the rowing calendar annually. I'll be here doing a little bit of commentary, so I haven't been on the airwaves for a while, so looking forward to getting in the box with Crossy, of course, the font of knowledge that he is. So we'll be doing the semi-finals tomorrow and then the A-finals on Sunday. I'm also a member of the World Rowing Council, so we have a little bit going on, some meetings, as well as the Tommy Keller Medal meeting and presentation tomorrow, so I'm a member of that committee too. And of course Lucerne is incredibly special as we announce the Tommy Keller medalists for this year and start thinking about who the recipient might be for next year. I also have the Australian rowing team competing here, which is really exciting. Had a great start in Varese a couple of weeks ago. So really looking forward to seeing how the team stepped on, of course, in my role as Chief Executive of Rowing Australia. So a few different focuses, but it'll be a great, I think, weekend with every hat on. So yeah, great weather, incredible location, and just happy to be back.
Yeah, I don't know how you fit it all in. And then you've raced here, you're now here in a lot of different capacities. Talk me through what it's like to race in Lucerne, to be here in the boat park, and what makes Lucerne so special.
It is really I think the home of rowing and the heart of rowing globally. You speak about Lucerne, whether it's to rowing lovers or rowers, and everyone knows so much about this venue. You know, I think it's so compact, and it's so great to be in the centre of a city like Lucerne, which is as beautiful as it is. But it's so compact here in the boat park that you really get the chance to see everyone and catch up. It feels like a bit of a reunion each year. But then you get such incredible conditions out there on the lake, aside from when the odd storm comes through. And I have survived the odd alpine storm out there. But it is such an incredible venue from that perspective. And, you know, we call it the Lake of the Gods because it is exactly, you know, long enough and wide enough and natural for a rowing course, which is quite special. But there's nothing like rowing down the course and hearing the cowbells as you're going down. And yeah, it just reminds me and reminds us why we love this sport and what makes it so special.
It definitely does. And I don't want to hold you up too much more. You've got a lot to do, but thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.